want to keep it here so I can.
Welcome to Two Guys Mike Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Thompson, with a special guest, Mr. Jeremy Connors.
Hi, Jay. How are you today?
What's going on?
Not much. Filling in for Mike.
Yeah. We felt really important that we come into you today because, there's a lot of big news coming. A lot of big news. And first and foremost is the hurricane.
Yeah, the hurricane. It's definitely sad what's going on there. Our thoughts and prayers definitely go out to everybody in the western North Carolina region, Tennessee, West Virginia, and all the way up and down the eastern seaboard, anyone who was affected, but especially those communities. Asheville, North Carolina is devastated, right?
Devastated. So I'm going to play for you a quick clip that we brought up, and it's what prompted Jeremy and I to come on today and talk about this, because this is so damning of the administration we have. I hope I can get this to work. But here we go.
Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas sounding the alarm on FEMA funding right after the devastation of Hurricane Helene. Listen.
Terrible.
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
This all comes as the Biden-Harris administration
spent
over $1 billion from a FEMA program on services for migrants.
Absolutely disgusting.
That just goes to show you how crazy our government has become, where we're taking funds that were allocated for Americans in their biggest time of needs after a natural disaster, and we're going to fund it to illegal immigration and programs for them to leave it at a deficit when we need it the most.
It's completely unimaginable, right? That this money would go to illegals and not to our own people, right? We're sending billions of dollars overseas, and it's consistent. It's just unfathomable that this can go on. And people need to really wake up, right? It's time. It's time to take a look and really dig in and take a dive. It's not about, Republican or Democrat. It's about the people who are doing the right things. And this administration that's in there now is completely corrupt. They're out of control. They spend your money without any recourse.
To the point where I was so shocked when I saw that report that I said, I'm going to do my own investigative research.
I called you up on this.
Yeah,
remember?
you did, and I looked it up and I couldn't believe it. So I went to the Federalist, which is kind of like a think tank that oversees government spending, and right in this report, if you want to Google, is FEMA out of money? And this is one of the reports that comes out. And it says, according to the government website, FEMA has spent more than $1 billion to provide humanitarian services to non-citizen migrants following their release from the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, under the Shelter and Services Program. Just within the last 2 years, the agency allocated nearly $364 million to the program in the fiscal year of 2023 and $650 million in 2024. And it also went on to say over the last 4 years under the Biden-Harris administration, the administration has steadily transformed FEMA from the agency responsible for responding to natural disasters like the Hurricane Helene into an illegal alien resettlement agency that emphasizes DEI over public safety. This is unprecedented. I just don't know. I don't understand.
Unconstitutional.
I don't understand.
I don't either, Jay, and it's disheartening, right? Many people in the local area here, have been impacted by flooding.
I remember when Katrina came through.
Yeah, and
Sandy.
Sandy. What do you have? Irene and Lee. It devastated local communities here. That's when FEMA was an agency, a response agency, and that was now it's like a kangaroo court. It's insane.
We're becoming a banana republic. We really are. I just don't understand. And this report goes on further to say, that yet Mayorkas is now demanding more funding for FEMA after the administration obviously the Biden-Harris administration diverted the agency's resources to the continued migrant crisis under President Biden's border czar, Kamala Harris. So if anybody who thinks
Is that in print?
that is in print right here,
Right
all
there.
the news that's
There
hit
it
the
is.
print. You know, it's incredible that they want to walk away from this. They want to run away from the fact that she was the border czar. This is her policy that is harming the people of North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, and yet where are they? Where are they in all this?
Nowhere in response. Nowhere in response.
You know who is in response?
Donald J. Trump.
He's handing stuff out.
Yes,
he's there.
he
He's
is.
there. You know, people are like, oh, you know, he doesn't care. He's not compassionate. Yet he's the one that's there.
On
He's
the
not
ground.
even the president.
on
He's
the
there.
ground, getting it done. And let's not take anything away from Elon Musk. Elon Musk
Yeah, donating Starlink.
donating Starlink to be able to get people in communication with their loved ones or if they need resources, etc. But I just heard today, and in fact it was on my way down here, that the federal government and government agencies in and around the areas that were affected by Helene have stopped or requested to stop private helicopter flights that are doing aid to the people who are
I
stranded.
did hear that.
And
People showing up.
drone flights, private drone flights. Okay, why is this? Jay, think about this.
They don't want you to see what's going on.
Bingo. Because what is going on is complete devastation, and it was promulgated, I believe, by geoengineering.
I think so. I do. You know, it's funny. In the age of TikTok and YouTube shorts and whatnot, a lot of people are creating content and they're putting it out there because they want people to see what they see. And that's the beauty of social media, right? Just like us right now, you know, we feel the need to voice. And there was a guy, and I wish I would have saved the video. You know, hindsight's always 20/20. And it showed the map of South Carolina and talking about cloud seeding and weather manipulation. And you see the storm come through, and there's almost like an explosion in the cloud pattern, and it almost looks like an insignia, almost like a Mayan insignia. It was kind of weird. And then the storm got 100 times worse right over that area. You know, it makes you wonder how much of these storms are really man-made. Not that I want to be a conspiracy theorist. I understand.
And they're gonna and there's people out here that
there's
are
a fine
false
line,
conspiracy
sure.
theorists. But in our lifetime, we have never seen any storms to this magnitude, right?
Well, they're going to call that. They're going to call that
consistent.
climate change.
Okay, and they're going to call it climate change. Climate change equals what? Big money, right?
Sure. Absolutely.
So,
I have never found the government have anything that taxes can't fix.
no, yeah, that's it, right? It's at our expense, and people get rich at the expense of the middle class, right? We know
Absolutely.
that. And when you look at this, you look at what's going on. There's a ton out there right now to try to distract you. I tell you, go out, do your research, look into this. But there is a lot of AI generated photos out there
Yes,
too.
you gotta be
I've been
careful.
coming across that. Let's take a look at those two grandparents and that 6-year-old that were on top of the roof there. I forget exactly where, but were swept away in the flood
Yeah,
waters.
that was horrible.
God,
Well,
but Biden was on the beach. He was sunning his nuts. He was on the beach. Come on.
Well, where was Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris was
In the
busy
basement.
No, she was busy yucking it up with $1 million donors.
That's exactly
These
it.
people don't care. That's
No.
that's
We're
what I don't-
expendable.
That's what I don't understand is where have we come to allow our elected officials to not give a shit? And it's really
Jay,
I don't know, I don't-
I'm an elected official, right? And
well. That's why I
one
believe
thing-
in keep it in all local. That's
But one thing I tell you though is I care about the people, right? And people contact me, they call me, I act. Okay, I try not to react. I try to act. I try to give them the best information that I can that ensures them a path forward. Okay, but with that, it's not about me. It's not about me. When I raised my right hand to accept that office, it was about the people. It was about the people of the town in which I serve. And when I see this at the federal level, the state, county levels, Saratoga County, wonderful group of individuals in the county that keep the taxes very reasonable, very manageable, right? You go to other counties, it's not, right? Look at the city of Schenectady. They just issued a 6.2% increase, but, we're getting off down that path. But when you look at it, the federal government has an open checkbook at our expense. It needs to stop, right? You gotta. It's going overseas.
Well, it has an open,
overseas.
but Jared, it has an open checkbook, yet it can't fund FEMA. It goes back to saying they don't care about the American people.
Not at all.
They care more about the illegals that are streaming in from the southern border.
Criminal.
They care more. They care more about funding wars overseas. Why are we shortchanging the American person that's a retiree through social services? Yet we're giving the Ukraine's citizens, we're shoring up their pension programs.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
the government doesn't work for us anymore. And if anybody who looks at any of this coverage of the hurricanes this time around and thinks that government is working, it's not.
I made a post today. What has Helene showed us? One, Biden's inept. Harris is inept. Waltz is in the basement. Donald Trump is a leader. He's a leader. He cares about the people. He's here for you. I'm not here to sway your vote. Do the research, okay? There's been a lot of fabricated indictments and everything else, but this guy's on the ground, his own money, his own connections, and his own resources, making things happen down there for the residents that are affected. The government, who's been down this road numerous times, they blamed Bush for
not being reactive enough.
Not being reactive enough for.
Although at least he wasn't coloring when he did the flyby like Kamala Harris was doing.
Well, that's it, right?
And the shutters closed, not even looking out to see what was going on.
Yeah, exactly, right. And you look at this and you say, man, how can people not vote for Donald Trump?
Well, it's funny. I was speaking about Bush because I think that was happened in 2006, 2008, something like that.
Katrina, the Katrina hurricane.
I want to say it's 2006. I mean, he wasn't up for re-election at that point. He was in the sunset of his term, but he was hammered by the media for waiting 2 days to go down there. Hammered. I mean, he took huge hits in his political machine. But that was when I believe the media realized that they can become really activists and sway public policy one way or the other tremendously, to the point that now it's been over almost a week since the hurricane hit the South, and Biden hasn't even been there. Kamala Harris has no plans of going there.
Well, no, because she's out campaigning,
and she
right?
stays out. I think she went to Georgia. I stand correct. I think she went to Augusta.
She was in Augusta,
which isn't even close to any of the devastation where people are really suffering. I'm sure they have trees that are down and whatnot. But the fact of the matter is, the media is complicit in allowing the charades to go on by the Biden-Harris and Harris-Waltz administrations or campaign, because they are not reporting what's happening.
Nope, they're not in real time. They're deterring it. They're distracting from the real narrative here, right? And it doesn't fit their narrative. So, when I heard on the way down here that the death count is up over 200 now.
And you know what,
Jeremy,
it's going to get worse.
It is,
because what happens is we're not finding people yet. They're still buried alive.
They are. Well,
and now what is starting to happen is people aren't getting their medication. People on oxygen with no power. Their oxygen supplies are running out. It's gonna become exponentially worse. It's gonna be a self-feeding snowball now, because whatever resources people had in their homes or whatever abilities they were to survive any length of time, when you come past a week, it's getting close to the end here, and there is no hope in sight. And there was a guy I was watching on a TikTok reel who was trying to get to was it Bat Cave, North Carolina or South Carolina, and he was where the road should be. Jeremy, it looked like a rock quarry with giant boulders. He goes, there's no way you can even navigate it by foot. And this was a main highway. It's going to take years to rebuild this infrastructure.
It is. I mean, you know,
Especially
they're
because
talking
we
months.
box ourselves into a corner with the DEC, with environmental protection, with Army Corps of Engineer. We are no longer builders. We are litigious paper pushers.
Yeah, it's bad down there, right? And you know, you see these photos that are coming out. You know, they're calling it a 500,000-year flood. I got to be honest with you. I've never seen the amount of water coming off the mountains like that. You know, you're hearing people on the ground here.
12 feet high water walls. I mean, water 12 feet high, flowing like a river in a place that never had a river. Where'd that water
all
come
of a
from?
sudden, and all of a sudden too, right? You know,
Did you see some of those? People were sitting in their front porch, and all of a sudden
and they
you
hear some trickling water.
then all of a
coming
sudden,
and boom.
giant freaking water rush.
Insane.
The videos are incredible.
They are. I mean,
Sometimes you
couldn't make
wonder,
this up.
is this Hollywood?
I actually thought it was.
I mean-
you know, we.
But they're living it.
Yeah, there's
They're living it.
people that we know that are down there, and you know, they say it's devastating, right?
My friend's power just got turned on last night at midnight, and he is in North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean,
We're talking
it's insane.
8 days.
Insane. I know power crews are down
Not sure.
there.
It's 6 days.
You know, power crews from all over the United States and Canada are down there. So
I
God
have
bless
family-
those guys.
I have family members that are working down there right now.
God bless those guys. You know, it's tough work. You know, from what I'm being told in the field, is that you know, a lot of the devastation is off road, right? Because typically power lines don't run alongside the road. You know, they run through right of ways, and
the problem is finding those breaks.
finding the breaks. You know, they're using obviously their grid maps and whatnot, but to be able to get to those breaks, to be able to restore that part of the circuit, you know, they say to traverse and up mountains and hills and things that they never thought that they could.
And I did see a report this morning on Fox that TEMA, which is the Tennessee version of FEMA,
Yep.
Is not allowing people to bring in resources directly to the people. It has to go to a TEMA staging center,
And then
and
redistributed.
then what's happening is it's not getting anywhere.
not.
It's being locked into warehouses, and it stays there. So people aren't even able to help if they want to.
Correct. Yeah, I've seen that too, and that's a problem, right? That's a huge problem, and you know, this should have. We go back. Let's go back to FEMA, right? Mm-hmm. When you look at a natural disaster, you know, myself, I have thousands of hours of training in how to handle disasters, how to handle response,
Local.
and how to be able to handle response and you know, delegate resources that are needed for a response. FEMA is the trainers, right, of this. They're the ones telling you this is what you need, this is how you structure it. Basic incident command, and they didn't have any resources there. Think about that.
How could they not be ready?
It just boggles my mind. It boggles my mind.
Well, no. Actually, you know what, Jeremy? We know why they weren't ready, because they were busy worrying about migrants.
Yeah,
And that's the problem. Our federal government is no longer focused on the American people. For some reason, and a majority of our population is okay with that. I don't understand that.
yeah. I mean, you know, let's take a look, because people don't know. I really believe that. I think people bury their head in the sand and say it's not going to happen to me until it happens, right? I mean, people have lived up in these mountains for generations
And there's never seen
and never seen anything like this. Does that should leave you scratching your head? Because it does me.
Well, I mean,
let's take a look at it. You know, Chimney Rock, North Carolina. You know, place of breathtaking views. It's beautiful.
in the Smoky Mountains.
And it's gone. It's gone. Decimated. Okay.
Did you see some of the pictures of the rivers? They're just like they're wastelands of debris. You'll never get that cleaned in years.
The debris field is enormous, right? And I mean, they're wiping out major arteries. You know, look at
Bridges.
Look at Asheville. Asheville is an island essentially right now, right? You know, impassable, and you know, it's one thing after another here. It keeps going and going and going.
And you know what aggravates me? Maybe it's because I'm getting older and I have less tolerance for stuff. You know, they say the grumpy old man thing. Where are all these other countries helping us out?
You know,
Yeah,
exactly. Well,
we're the first one in every country in the world. We're the first one to offer aid.
Zelensky's here. He was here. Oh,
Yeah.
wait.
He was hand
here to
out.
collect his check.
He was hand out, not hand.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Right. What was I thinking? What was I thinking?
God. But that's another issue. I am sick and tired of our money going everywhere else but here. Could you imagine, Jeremy, if we didn't give out, and I said this the last time, so I'm actually repeating myself, but if we didn't give out foreign aid to the 170 countries that take it, plus all these supplemental appropriations bill that we give out for every single disaster or every single war or every single this, every single that, if all that money stayed in our country, we'd have roads paved of gold.
Well, we would, right? And you look at it.
Because none of them like us.
No. Why would they, right? Why would they?
You know? I pray to God, I really do, and I know I'm going to get critiques on this. I do pray to God that Donald Trump gets in there, because at least, even if he doesn't get anything done, at least he talks about it, which is less than what the people that are in there now do. They just want to... The party that's in there now hates our flag. They hate our Constitution. They hate our traditions. They hate Christmas. They hate women. They hate everything that's bad comes from the Democratic Party right now.
It is.
The Ronald Reagan Democrats of way back when are no longer there.
No. There's definite divine hatred for this country. We're seeing it. It's playing out in educational institutions. You know, nationally, you know, it's not good, right? You know, I just read about a North Carolina teacher, you know, who was fired for not using pronouns they, them, or whatever.
How crazy is that?
But he sued. He sued, and he just won, $750,000.
Good.
So good for him.
Good.
You know, but Robert Gaudet, the founder and CEO of the Cajun Navy, okay, a volunteer disaster and rescue response team, states he's witnessed devastation in dozens of natural disasters firsthand, but told a news outlet that the destruction that he's seen from Hurricane Helene has him a loss for words. They've responded to the wildfires in Maui, Katrina, to name a few, and have never seen devastation like this. This is in the Smoky Mountain Range, right? The hills of Tennessee, West Virginia.
The rednecks,
we've been down
the
there.
rednecks that can handle this shit.
You know,
they
police their own, right? And they do their own, and
these are the people, and these are the folks that are self-reliant. These are the folks that can handle themselves. These are the Smoky Mountain boys are the ones that we were like, well, you know what? When shit hits the fan, they're going to come and bail us out, and they can't handle it. They can't handle this.
That's exactly it. I mean, and we're hearing that generations have been wiped out there, right? Families just gone. It's not good. It's not good at all. It saddens me. I'm not going to lie. I put out a few posts about this. It saddens me. And for the Biden-Harris administration not to do a thing, for Biden to sit on the beach and, like I said, sun is nuts, and while there are people who are suffering, his own people are suffering, and he decides he's going to go to the beach. You wouldn't see that out of Donald Trump, and nor did you. When there was disaster that struck, Donald Trump was in the office going to work. That's what a businessman does.
As a matter of fact, he actually was contemplating putting off his RNC speech to make sure he was there.
Correct. Yep. And,
Harris doesn't even miss a freaking dinner for donors
You know,
because it was more important for her to get her campaign funds and her campaign donations than to worry about the people suffering.
42 trillion gallons of rainfall.
42 trillion.
Think about that.
I can't even imagine a trillion. So I wish they could compartmentalize that so we can have an idea of how much water that really was. Well, you know what? How
let's
much?
take a look. Yeah,
Wait a
let's
minute.
do some math
Let's
here.
do something here, because Google is great for something. Because I have an idea. I have an idea of what it is. So let's see if I'm close.
160 billion estimated thus far in damage and economic loss. It's unfathomable, right? What's going on? Over 1 million people without power.
So how much did you say?
42 trillion?
Gallons?
42 trillion gallons of rain fell. Hang on. Let me break it down to you. You could fill Lake Tahoe with all the rain that fell on the amount of the southeast during Hurricane Helene. And the 42 trillion gallons of rainfall would also be equivalent to the flow of Niagara Falls for a year and 3 quarters. Think about that.
Well, it would be the equivalent of Lake Ontario. Imagine that.
Disgusting.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And that fell from. It's funny. Not that kind of going off track here, but think of the weight of that
Oh my
in
God.
the sky, and it all falls, and now that hydraulic rush of water is just tearing everything out in its path.
I mean, absolutely insane, right? It's I just can't believe it. I mean, the French Broad River near Asheville rose more than 10 feet beyond its previous record.
Did you say the French Broad?
Yeah, French Broad. Yeah, oui, oui. That's it.
No.
Yeah, 10.18 feet above its previous record. So it was.
All right. So
Well, let me just see if I can pull this up here.
how do we solve this? Other than saying let's get Donald Trump elected, obviously.
30.31 feet. That's where the French Broad River rose to.
33 feet. So
and
for you guys that live in Waterford, okay,
Its average is
Irene
five
got up to, I believe it was 26 feet.
Yeah.
So 33 feet would probably be at the height of the bridge, which means water would be up to Grace Church. Up to St. Mary's Church.
It would envelop the
you
entire
imagine that?
lower part of the village of Waterford.
And the whole entire,
Yep.
all the way out to Mechanicville, all of Mechanicville. I mean, crazy.
Yeah. And
The amount of water, holy crap.
Yeah.
So again, what's the solution here? How do? Well, I will encourage everybody to either go to Mercury One and donate for the relief, or go to the Red Cross, or find a local charity that's down there. Google them and donate. They need money. They need help. Unfortunately, I think if you I've seen people that go down, or trying to go down with tractor trailer loads of stuff.
It's just not
and
happening.
It's just the state's just taking it, and then they're redistributing it if it's even getting out. I remember during Irene, there were out in Cobleskill, there was lots and lots of trailers just sitting out in a farmer's field, and it was never touched, and yet people needed that stuff in Schoharie. But
for people who are racers, the Slide Job Ranch is it's a Ricky Stenhouse.
What has NASCAR's response been to all this?
Yeah, NASCAR's response has been great, actually.
Yeah.
A lot of the teams, a lot of the big teams have been
Because they're all based
stepping
out of
up.
there.
Yeah, they're based out of North Carolina, and obviously they have races in Tennessee as well. Bristol Motor Speedway opened up their facility for I would say refugees from the storm. Refugees in America, you can't even
Hard to believe.
hard to believe,
Hard to
right?
believe.
If you go to Ricky Stenhouse Jr.com or slidejobranch.com, They're pre-selling T-shirts for North Carolina Strong for disaster relief, and 100% of proceeds will go to that relief. And
We'll put the link.
That,
We'll put the link in the description of those this particular websites that we endorse.
Joey Logano, the Joey Logano Foundation
Can we find
$250,000.
a Chevy one? Maybe not all Fords.
No, it's Stenhouse is a Chevy driver.
Since when? That's right. He was always.
He's been. The Bristol.
Hey, Danica, I'll be your Patrick.
Yeah, Bristol Motor. I'll be your Doug. Bristol Motor Speedway is serving as the Northeast Tennessee Disaster Relief Center in the aftermath. So if you do need stuff, you can go to TEMA or the Bristol Motor Speedway, and they can assist there. So folks, as devastating as it is, let's bring it back to where we were with Jason here, and how can we fix this? Short of waving a wand and putting President Trump and J.D. Vance in office.
I'm going to ask you something. Playing as a devil's advocate, because I'm sure people are saying, blah, blah, blah. What do you see? What would the difference be? Well, I already know the difference, but what would the difference be if it was Trump in office today? FEMA wouldn't be out of money.
FEMA would not be out of money.
Because we wouldn't be diverting it to freaking illegal immigrants.
No, not at all, right? It would be, this would be, it would be the response would be proper and appropriate, for the disaster at hand, right? Right now it's not. It's, to your point, it's a kangaroo court type of, it's. I'm disgusted.
Do you guys at all think that it's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback? Of course, it's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback, but guys, the game's on right now, and the quarterback's not even in the room.
No,
it's not even in the building. Your coach isn't even in the building. I mean, this is happening now, real time, and our elected officials are not engaged. I don't think you would see that with President Trump.
You didn't, right? I mean, candidate Trump right now is there on the ground getting it done. He's using his resources. He's touching base with folks like Elon Musk, stating, hey, we need your technology. We need it to get these folks up and running to be able to contact, help from the outside.
What does Kamala Harris do? She has a FEMA meeting in New York City.
Yeah, come on. I mean, retired NASCAR driver Greg Biffles up in his personal helicopter. Okay, he posted about we'll say 24 hours ago. I saw the mirror. I dropped a pin. I'll be back. If this is your family member, I'm coming back. He had to go refuel and stuff, and I believe he was going there today. But guys like that are who have the resources are out there getting it done. And the government's trying to shut that down.
No, the government wants to go after those people because they're too rich.
Crazy. It's crazy. Oh, yeah.
Tax the rich.
Yep.
Yeah, they're the rich. They're the ones that are sending their own private planes, their own private equipment, their own private everything to try to help people out.
And
the
government wants to shut it
demonization, the
down.
constant demonization by the Democrats of people that want to do anything is really starting to get to me. And it's all it all funnels to where the inability for us to do anything anymore, where people are suffering, and it's all divide.
Yeah, they want that, right? And attack your enemy, and that's what's going on here. And again, there's people out there that are going to call us conspiracy theorists. I know it. I know it's coming. They're going to think I'm crazy. They're going to think you're crazy. But just do your homework.
Do your research.
Do your research.
And the thing is, don't do your research and don't look at what you want to find. Look for the truth. It's out there.
Were you in Tiananmen Square?
I watched it on TV.
Oh yeah,
I can tell the truth about it.
Yeah.
I saw it on TV.
I saw it on TV too.
Yeah. I didn't, and it didn't. I didn't need to go to China to teach me how to be a better politician, which I don't understand how that works. As an American who believes in capitalism, free speech, and individuality, I'm going to go to China and learn how to better govern. It's a communist country.
Well, that should say it all.
If that doesn't tell you what's going on in Walter's head. You know, this is the same guy that thought that the BLM riots were great. This is the same guy that had his school districts in his state closed the longest in the country. He is the one that was the most ardent supporter of vaccines and masks. This guy is not an individual liberties guy.
Now let's, you know,
I know we're going way off
we
track.
are going way
but
off course.
The fact of the matter is, this is who is running our country right now.
That is exactly
And that's the
it.
point. So they don't care what happens in North Carolina,
No.
in South Carolina,
Not at
in
all.
Georgia, because that doesn't fit their agenda.
Well, it doesn't
don't
put
care.
them there, and what are they getting out of it, right? You know, it's
Because they care more about the migrants that come here because they can
Well.
get votes out of them.
you know, we can change the outcome of the election with that, right?
So, well, folks, I appreciate you spending some time with us. You know, we work really hard to come up with some good content for you, and in the comments, there'll be all of the charities that we believe are going to best suit, you know, and serve the people of the areas that were affected.
Yeah, folks, pray for these people, okay? And I mean that,
Power
right?
of prayer.
The power of prayer, the divine above, right? And you know, I believe in God. I believe in my faith.
Amen.
And you know, I pray for each and every soul that perished down there. I pray for their families. You know, do your part.
Biblical proportions.
Proportions that we've seen down there. But do your part. If you can spare a dollar for these for the relief funds. You know, we'll put some ones that we endorse in there that we know will get the you know, receive the funds to local organizations. You know, we're not saying that the Red Cross or any of those don't do, but you know, most of those big ones take it and then they redistribute it to other areas. If you're looking to identify a specific area, get a hold of us in the chat, and we'll do our best to connect you with the right people. But folks, do your part. You're an American. Do your part.
Till we meet again. We were great, we were free, had a country that couldn't be beat. We were right